So what's good, Tiffany? Good to see you. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I am doing phenomenal, but I believe you're doing better. So look, Tiffany, for all the people watching this on YouTube and our free school community of 4,500 coaches who are getting results, we want to know, like, you're absolutely crushing it working with us one-on-one and group, right? So let the audience know. What's your coaching offer? We'll start with that. And who are you?
My coaching offer is a 90-day coaching program with neuro alignment peak performance coach to move people from experiencing resistance and burnout to complete coherence so that their life and businesses can flourish.
Awesome. Love it. Love it. Love it. And Tiffany, I think it would be very helpful to like take the viewers to where you were at in the beginning, right? Because I know when you and I met, right, you had this offer, right? But what were you doing at that time? And yeah, what were you doing at the time? And what was your current funnel at that time?
So at that time, I was on doing TikTok live. So that was my current funnel then. And I was booking 60-minute one-on-one calls with people just to kind of give them a personal roadmap. And then from there, I would just kind of really just send them an offer email. I wasn't even pitching my program at the end. So, and then I just would kind of hope and pray. I was enrolling about two clients a month into the 90-day program from doing that. So I really didn't have any structure because I didn't know what it looked like. I was just
Yeah.
winging it.
So yeah, look, Tiffany, I know you're like you got your 10th client working with us. I believe like about a 60-day window. I was waiting for that. I knew it was gonna happen. And I knew you were gonna be a great client to work with. I could definitely tell like the determination when you and I were chatting the first time. So your current funnel, right, was not working to the degree that you wanted it to work. It was more of a slower,
Right.
you'd get them on a live, but you wouldn't really make a sale right away. So what were some of the key changes that you were making from after our call and we gave you the game plan? What are some key things that you were changing in the business to make you get faster results? And yeah, let's start with that.
The biggest thing that has changed is, for one, signing up with Stripe and being able to text the payment link to them while I'm on the computer and then pitching them while I'm on the call with them. That is like the biggest thing that has changed my life.
Yeah.
Learning how to pitch and then paying while we're online still, sending
Yeah.
them the link.
I think that's very helpful for us to zone in, right? Because we're talking about like, pitching, payment, right? So let's analyze that a bit more, right? Because that comes down to basically sales, right? Because at the end of the day,
Yeah.
when you and I first met, you didn't really have a marketing problem per se, because you were getting people to show up on your lives, which is a lot of coaches' problems. Where even if it's not a live, it's Instagram or Facebook, like they have leads there, they're not working the leads that they have better, right? So I think it's very helpful that we zone in on what you just said about your sales ability, right? So you started taking sales calls with a dialed in sales process, sales script, pitching on calls, like the things that you weren't really doing before. Walk us through that journey. How was that feeling and how were the results during that time?
Well, it was scary to do it like the first couple of times to pitch them and say, hey, I have a 90-day program. You're a great candidate for it. And then run them through and then be like, well, it's $1,800. And then my heart would sink. Some of them would be like, okay. And then others would be like, okay. And I'd be like, okay. And they'd be like, yeah. And I'll just send them this like, well, how do I pay? I'm like, right now, I'm going to text it to you. That was the biggest thing. So that, I don't know, it was really cool the first few times that it happened. And then it just kept happening and
Yeah.
kept happening. So it was really, I don't know, it's changed my life really. So it's pretty cool. Seven
Yeah.
years in the making. I've been trying to get this right for 7 years.
Yeah, well, it's working. It's you're absolutely crushing it, and I love that. Like when you got your first sale, right? Because I think you probably remember the first person you got that first stripe from, and then they said yes, right? Because I remember for me years ago, my first sale that I ever did, I still remember that feeling in that day and that person. It was like years ago. So like, walk us through that, right? I think it's really good that we zone in, right? Because you mentioned the price of your program, which arguably we've been going higher ever since that, right? Because you're definitely worth it. How did that feel when you like got clear on your systems? It worked. Like you're like, oh shoot, like how did that feel?
It took a minute to sink in.
Mm.
It took a minute to sink in. I was like, oh my God, this is what I've been missing the entire time. But that first one, I kind of closed the computer off and got up and jumped up and down. I was like, I can't believe it. So it was exciting. And then like the next day I closed another one.
hmm
And then later that week I closed another one. And I cried over that when I was like, oh, I can't believe this is happening like this. So this is what momentum looks like.
Yeah. Awesome. A momentum, a clear structure and everything, right? So take us to that. So we've established, obviously, we helped you with your sales ability, right? But I want to zone in about your lives, right? Because I think it's very important for people that, to know that, hey, like I like Instagram, but TikTok works really well too. You're evident that it's working out, right? So your current live structure that you were doing, right? When you were getting on lives, you were giving value. What are things that you started implementing, working with us to make people want to book more calls with you, hop on your lives more? Like walk us through that.
Yeah, well, on my lives, I've been on them for a year. So I've
Mhm.
been doing TikTok since July of last year. It's just the offers, the 30-minute free call, or I offer a 60-minute free call. I will pitch the 60-minute free call, but then I started also um, giving out the 30-minute calls as well, going back through the DMs for
Mhm.
people that had like reached out because it's connected to my stand store. So they can just either they can book with me right on the live now. And for those that like clicked the button but never actually went through and signed
Yeah.
up, yeah, I go back through and offer them a 30-minute call. So that's outreach. So
Yeah.
that's another thing I learned that I had no clue about either. I would have never outreached to people that had actually I didn't know that was called a warm lead either.
Yeah, so I think it's good that we zone in on what Tiffany's talking about is basically for people watching, it's like the people that we'll keep it more simple, but people that have inquired to work with you, but maybe didn't complete the payment, maybe didn't follow through, maybe they just life happened. And Tiffany was like, "Oh shoot, I have all these people that have asked me stuff and I've never followed up with them." And then sure enough, you followed up with them and what happened?
Yeah. Well, some of them actually paid. They were like, okay, that's really great. Yeah, they booked and then they paid. I just met with another woman on a 30-minute call too. So
Yeah.
my structure is a little bit different because I have that 60-minute paid call too, but 30-minute calls are just as valuable.
Yeah.
So I've had people pay from the 30-minute calls as well as the 60 minutes. So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. I
Yeah.
didn't even know that was a thing.
And Tiffany, I think it's good that we highlight, obviously, like, you've been with us for about 60-ish days now, right? You're already on your 10th client. You're going, you're getting more leads. I just think it's great that the growth where you're at from what we met to now, right? So walk us through maybe some rapid fire things that you learned that are just working, that you implemented, that were like next level to your business.
The biggest thing was the sales structure.
Yeah.
Like that's the biggest thing. Learning how to pitch, learning how to use Stripe because I was using Stand Store and people it would do the payment and I was wondering, I was like, how does everybody else get people to pay in full? So I didn't know about that. Like that was a big one. The Stripe payment link, the sales pitch was a big one. How I've got my emails structured now is different. The videos, the triage calls, the
Mm,
30-minute calls, the outreach, like there's a lot there that I was missing completely that is now like making my business work as a whole, like it's a whole functioning system now, which
yeah.
is a big deal, a
Love
really
it.
big deal.
Love it. So currently, right, we're August 20th. You said that you're almost about another 10K month for your business?
I'm 2,900. I need one more client from to have 10K to clear 10K for August, which
Love
is
it.
I can't comprehend it. I'm still trying. I have to sit down on the couch and think, this is real.
So,
This is real.
yeah, because I used to remember our call, right, where you talked about your goal 10K. So, where are you going right now? What's your next goal like? Where's the after 10K? I don't think you're gonna stop at 10.
Well, no. So I'd like to strive for 15. I could probably do 20, but I have to I have to, get rid of my other two jobs first and make room to do that.
Yeah.
So,
We
but yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
We talked
I'm
about
not
that.
greedy. I can do 10, 15, 20, 25.
Yeah. Well, look, Tiffany, you're absolutely crushing it. I'm so proud of you. As we wind this down, what are maybe some rapid fire, some key things that people that are watching, the coaches that that need clients, that that are struggling, that want to get results. at your stage right now where you're at, right? Where you're getting this lead flow, you're converting, right? You're at a 30% close ratio off of your our last competition. What's some advice that you can give them to help them, get more clients or yeah, start with that.
Well, consistency is the biggest thing. Like, don't give up. I did that for years. I would start something and see no results, and then move over here. It's like shiny object syndrome.
Yeah.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. Like, don't do that. Stick with one thing, one product, one platform for 1 year, and get you a business coach because you're going to hit a wall. And then when you can't get past that wall, you have to work with somebody to learn the system. But consistency is key. I recommend lives. I recommend TikTok because that's where my business is funneling in through. But I know that Instagram does well. I know that YouTube does well. So whatever platform anybody picks, stick with it. It doesn't look like anything's happening in the beginning, but you're just building momentum. So it is coming. I think it took me 5 months before got my first client from last July to like the week of Christmas. I booked my first sessions, and that was a really big deal.
Love
I
it. Love
cried
it.
over $180.
That's awesome. I remember my first sale of the email and everything. I didn't cry. I'm not a crier, but I remember feeling that sense of pride. So I'm very proud of you. And my final question, Tiffany, is, there's coaches that are going to watch this as well too that are on the fence, that maybe that they've inquired, they've joined our community of over 4,500 coaches. They see all of our results, but they're not yet like over the limit. What would you say to them to get them to be like, yeah, you know what? You need their help, guys.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. Yeah, you're awesome. Nick is awesome. How y'all teach the sales structures, how you're there, like the courses you've got that are in there. All of that was very beneficial and helpful to me. I crammed down them courses when I first enrolled, like within the first 48
Yeah.
hours, because I was just like hungry. It was like, I got to learn this stuff. What is here that I don't know?
Yeah.
I need to know this stuff so that I could start implementing it. But I seen results immediately.
Yeah.
Remember, I enrolled, I went on vacation, come back, and
You
bam, you
did.
started signing.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember you were like, I want to go on
Yeah.
vacation. I'm like, that's fine. We can make it work. So love it, love it. Well, look, I'm proud of you, Tiffany. You're crushing it. I look forward to seeing you at that 15K, 20K, 30, 40, 50K goal, which definitely gonna get there. Our next video, Mark stamping it. You said 15K. Our next video is going to be once you hit $25,000 in your